move on to the next item. It appears that the next item is the chairman's report. The chairman at this time has no report. So we can go to the next item, which is the attorney's report.
I have a matter that I'll probably need to discuss later in closed door that's more of a litigation in nature or potential litigation. So I'll wait for any additional report unless there's questions of the board.
That takes us to the manager's report.
Manager's report, we should, I don't know that Rich or Mendes had anything specific to discuss. We have been up to the state legislature and visited with them yesterday on several bills that are of interest to the district. One was a town board issue that the 318 districts were inadvertently dragged into in error, and we were able to visit with and clarify that issue with Oscarson and Pico Chiapo, who were co-sponsors of that bill, as well as Crescent Party, and they've addressed that and clarified that issue. The problem was town boards would not, if there was a vacancy from illness, death, or someone resigned, they wouldn't fill that position. They'd leave it open until the next election, which could be up to 2 years. And that was deemed an inappropriate activity. And so they were going to make it that the county commissioners always appointed. But they changed that to where to come in line with 318, which says the board has 30 days to do that, and then the county commissioner shall. So we were able then to give support to that piece of legislation. There is another bill that is not directed directly at Overton or any other utility in the state. It has to do with serving outside your designated service territory. PUC grants you your service territory in the state of Nevada. You can serve electrically. If you step out of that, you should be subject to a different set of rules. And they are looking to address that with some utilities that wish to serve outside their territorial boundaries, and to make them then subject to the PUC scrutiny rather than their local elected officials. And we in our discussions with several of the legislators, we don't have a problem with that concept that if you want to leave your service territory and be competitive with another utility, you should have a different set of regulatory compliance that you have to do. As long as you stay within your adjudicated or with the PUC granted service territory, your board makes those choices and decisions. So we were able to visit with them on that one as well. And, there are some bills up there that deal with renewables and the ability to, or requirement to have renewables. We've talked with them about that. We met with the Stacy, what's her last name? Crowley, who is the state energy office, and we discussed with her the goals the governor has and the state has with renewables and some of those, and we're working with her on how the small utilities can interface and be a part of that process. It's difficult because of the economy of scale, the number of customers we have to get involved in some of those issues on a Nevada power level. That was a useful discussion with her, and she's going to get back to us on that. And there was a large discussion about the sage grouse and what that means. That's northern Nevada's desert tortoise. And so that that has yet to play itself out. But Nevada is put together a committee, come up with a plan that they'll flesh out in the next 9 months to take to the feds to try to avoid the listing of the grouse as an endangered species. What that will do is provide or give the opportunity for some of these regional energy zones, solar, wind, geothermal to develop. And so that was basically the areas we covered with the legislature. And that's my report. Any questions on that? If not, we will move to our financial with Melissa. We'll have that up on the
Okay, you can see here on line number 1, the operating revenue for February was $3,141,000. On line number 3 is our cost of purchase power for February was $1,755,000, adding to the total cost of our electric service for a total of $2,646,000, giving us on the bottom right, on line number 29, our margin for the month of $478,000. And here on B, you can see that our total for the year is, our margin is $485,616. Over to our balance sheet, on line number 3, our total utility plant and service is $98,603,000. Our net utility plant is $75,776,000, giving us total assets and other debits of $92,616,000. On line number 36, we have the total margins and equities of $32,771,000. Our equity as a percentage of our assets is at 35.38%. And again, on line 57, we have our liabilities, which is the $92,616,000. Okay, here we have the cash breakdown, and I included a summary sheet so it's a little bit easier to see here on the screen. Our ending balance as of February 28th is the $6,377,000. That's an increase from last month of $234,000. At the bottom, you can see that we have liabilities against that for customer deposits, work order deposits, construction done, and refunds to the state, giving us a total available cash of $6,218,000. In February, we received 5 connect fees for $7,912. We have a breakdown of our electrical accounts receivable balance, and as of March 14th, we had 68 billing arrangements for a total of $12,430.
Where'd that jump come from?
That would be weather related from our January, February weather. They called in and asked for additional time to pay. And we try to work with them as long as if they indicate that they would like an arrangement and can we pay in a week, as long as they fulfill that arrangement, we work with them on that. It's when they break an arrangement and it becomes difficult to work with them.
Here we have a breakdown of our long-term debt. We have a quarterly payment due for CFC that will be due on March 31st, and that will be paid in full and on time. At the bottom, you can see our bond funds. We have a payment that will be due on June 30th, and again, that will be paid in full and on time. The number of customers as of I was almost going to say December. Can you tell I'm still on it? February is 14,056. That's an increase of 9 customers from last month. Here we have a breakdown of revenue by customer class. I have a summarized version so it's easier to see. If you look at the bottom, you can see that our monthly cost for February was at 6.5 cents. Our monthly revenue was at 10 cents, and our 2013 average cost was at 6 cents. Here we have a graphical representation of our margins for each month, and we'll continue to provide that for you guys throughout the year to monitor. That's it for me.